All right.
I'll put my.
How many were here when we were here
yeah.
in July? Raise your hands if you were here in July.
Oh,
Okay.
yay.
Yes, okay, great. Newbies, raise your hand for the newbies here, okay? Are there any newbies that have moved here since July?
Oh,
Well,
wow.
welcome.
Okay.
Welcome to you.
What a wonderful place, and we always love coming here. So thank you. Oh, anyway, I
So
don't want to
anyway,
start. Shall we start?
yeah, a little bit. First, actually, just a little bit about us in case you. Patty and I live in Richmond, Virginia. We made our living both as college professors. We were both retired from Virginia Commonwealth University, and we also made our living on Broadway for many, many decades. So we
Yes.
happen
Oh,
to
thank
live
you.
here in Virginia. We retired recently, or the last 10 years. And our job when we are not here doing these wonderful things for you wonderful people is we are actually speakers on cruise lines for Regent,
yeah.
Celebrity, and Oceana. So a month ago, we got off, we were in the Amazon River for a month. as a matter
Very
of fact.
different temp. Oh
Yeah.
dear, very different temperature there, and so humid, high 90s and humid.
Yes. Anyway, good evening. Thank you so much for coming. Apologies for the delay and all this sort of thing. So we do have a lot of audience participation in this. So there's a lot of trivia and a lot of, anyway, you'll see how we do. But anyway, so when we were here in July, can you all hear me fine? All right, when we
Yeah.
were here in July, we did great songs from great movies. And there were so many wonderful great songs and great movies that we decided to do.
More great songs from more great movies, part 2.
Yes.
And so, we like to do a little trivia, but I want to, Hallie, have to thank Hallie because she's fabulous. And thank you for
Yes,
inviting
thank
us,
you.
and thank you all for being here. And so we'd like to start with a little trivia, a little warm-up thing. So shall we get started with that?
Yes. So, all right. So here's we have 3 quick warm-ups
here
we're
we
gonna
go.
do, okay? So in 1967, a British movie, a comedy, came out. The title of the featured song and the movie were the same. Use your brains. Does anyone know
Is it-
what we're thinking about?
Any guesses on that? Okay, well, we got a couple more hints
All
for
right,
you.
here's another clue. All right.
Okay, so Burt Bacharach and Hal David, this songwriting team did not.
To serve, oh, that's a good choice. That was
Wow.
actually, but you're wrong though. But it was in our last, we did in great songs from great movies. It was in that one actually, but it's a really, really good choice. That might have been my choice too.
I didn't
Had
hear
I
the
not known
choice.
the
I
answer to
didn't-
this, I think
What?
Alfie.
Oh,
All right. What?
Somebody
is
said
it
Alfie?
All right, hold on to that. Let's see. All right.
David.
Yes.
She was going to introduce us.
Oh,
Oh, my
okay.
goodness. Sorry, but we started before we were supposed to start. You were going to introduce us, right? No.
All right.
No,
Okay.
really
All right.
sorry.
Okay.
We were.
Oh, we're
we're-
family by now. Okay, so I'm sorry.
Apparently, we're not thinking clearly
Okay.
because of
All
the
right.
projection.
All right, so Alfie. Okay, so hold on to that. Okay, so what's the clue here, Patty?
So Burt Bacharach and Hal David, they didn't actually want to write the song because they didn't like the name, because to them it was just too uninteresting. How do you like that? They didn't want to write it because they didn't like the name.
All right, and one more clue. All right, one more clue is Cilla Black, popular teenage idol at that time in the UK. She sang the featured song, and when she was asked to sing the song, she said yes, but she said, "Isn't that what you name your dog?" All right, so the name of that movie is?
Yep.
Yes.
You got this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So beautiful. Oh.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Now,
what a
may I, Hallie, could you turn it up just like 1 point? Thank you. All right. So,
What a
yeah,
fabulous movie.
maybe a couple of points. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
It was a British comedy drama starring, Michael Caine, and it was about a womanizing man who was forced to change his ways.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then who you just heard? Well, it was Dionne Warwick. Now, she recorded that song after the movie opened. But you heard her, and it was number 15 on the Billboard charts, her version.
And we mentioned Cilla Black before. She sang the song for the movie before Dionne Warwick. And the reason why she said, "Isn't that what you name? Isn't that what you name your dog?" Because in the UK, in the middle '60s, Alfie was the most popular name for a dog. That's why. Yeah. Uh-huh. All right,
my God.
here's another.
Now you're going to name some quotes from movies. Here is the first quote. So here's your first hint on it. If you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter. Any
Grease.
guess?
Okay, we got one
So-
person.
God,
Raise your hand if you
Grease.
think it's Grease. Okay, we're going to give you another clue. See
Okay.
if you can cement that in. Okay. All right. Here's another one. Wait, you just can't walk out of a drive-in.
And if you didn't get it, then you're going to get it with this one. Tell me about it, stud.
You still think it's
What
Grease?
is it? You still think it's Grease? Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that I want. So we all know it's Grease, and we all know the song. It's "You're the One That I Want," and we all know who that is, right? Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. Now, Grease was the highest money-making movie musical at that time, and it brought in almost $400 million. Whoa, a lot.
All right. Now, here we're going to play a theme song from a movie. You tell us the name of the movie.
Oh, that's
Anyone know?
We need
Okay,
a
you want a
do
little
you
more?
need a longer
Okay,
hint?
here
Yeah.
we go. Here's more. Bridge on the River Kwai.
Bridge. I
Okay.
hear Bridge over the River
Would you put
Kwai.
money on that?
Yeah.
Yes, you would. All right. Well,
Yeah.
you are right. Definitely
Yes, the River of the River Kwai. Who saw that movie? Anybody see that movie?
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people say that it is the best film ever made. Now, it was directed by a director, Sir David Lean, and he directed Lawrence of Arabia and Dr. Zhivago. And what's it about? Well, it's about British soldiers. They're imprisoned at a POW camp, a Japanese camp, and they are forced to make this railway bridge over the River Kwai. They had to build it.
so. All right. Again, hands raised again of who saw the movie?
Yeah,
of people.
lot.
Okay.
Yes.
So you may not know
Great
the
film.
story behind the theme song, though. Okay. So that song that they were whistling to is called Colonel Bogey's March, and it was written by a British Army bandmaster during World War I. Well, soldiers in Great Britain loved that song, and they sang it to build morale. And in World War II, the British soldiers actually added lyrics to it because when they were fighting the Nazis, they wrote lyrics that talked about how much they despised Hitler, Himmler, Goering, and Goebbels. Now, when David Lean went into production for the film, he didn't know that there were lyrics for it. So he said, guys, could you sing it for me? Well, we're going to play the melody and imagine the soldiers singing these lyrics. Right. So,
Oh,
so
my
when
goodness.
he heard it, he said, okay, guys. He said, okay, guys, I think that's really funny, and I think it's great, but I don't think it's going to pass censorship if we put it in the movie. So instead of singing those lyrics, how about if you whistle? And the rest of it is cinematic history. That's how it happened.
So yeah, that's so interesting.
All right.
So score.
Yeah. So score. So what's the difference between a soundtrack and a score? Okay. When we were here in July, we talked about the
Yeah.
difference. So let's do a quick review.
Well, they work together, but they are different. We usually think of a score as background music. It sets the mood or the tone for each scene, and it heightens the emotion.
But sometimes that background music is so popular that it becomes almost as famous as the movie itself. So we're going to play a theme from a movie, okay, a score, and you tell us the name of the movie. It's also a TV show. Here we go. What is it?
I know you know this.
Yeah, Mission Impossible, right?
Yeah, Mission Impossible is an Argentine composer, Lalo Schifrin. Now, he wrote that for the 1966 TV series Mission Impossible. And here we are 60 years later, and you know, that theme song is as famous as all the movies we've seen of it.
Yes. Okay, so what was his inspiration? It was the International Morse Code. The letter M in Morse code is two long sounds. The letter I are two short sounds. Listen. Long, long, short, short, long, long, short, short. So literally, the phrase Mission Impossible is literally MI in Morse code.
You never know how a song's going to be written, right? Well, now Schifrin was told that at the beginning there was going to be this opening sequence of this burning fuse. Well, that got his musical brain burning and burning, and you know what? He sat down at the piano and he wrote that theme song in 1.5 to 3 minutes. Wow,
Yeah,
that was,
yeah.
yeah.
So let's listen to it. 60 years later, we see. Did anyone see the Tom Cruise Mission Impossibles? Anyone see it? Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
let's listen to some of that as we listen to the score. All right, so Patty, now you all know what a score is. So Patty, do a quick review of what a soundtrack
A
is.
soundtrack's a selection of songs that are chosen for a movie. And you know, it informs you about the characters and how they are feeling. Now, a soundtrack, a song from a soundtrack in a movie has much more weight, much more emotion than just a mere dialogue scene can ever give you. And this next scene, you're going to know exactly what is happening. There's no dialogue in this scene, but you will know what is happening because of the music.
So we're going to play this song from the soundtrack. You tell us the name of the movie. Right? Yes,
Yeah.
right. Uh-huh.
What a great film.
And you
Oh.
know exactly the feeling that it gets, right? All right, so that song was written by Hy Zarad and Alex North way back in the 50s, and the Righteous Brothers sang it, remember? A lot of us in this room probably slow danced to that song. Remember that? Yeah, all right. So now, bring it forward to this. That song was actually written for the 1955 movie Unchained. And then the Righteous Brothers made a big hit out of it, and then here it is, it appears in Ghosts. So it's been used over and over and over again.
How does music get into movies? And where do all these composers and songwriters actually get their ideas from?
Well, it all starts with what's called a spotting session. A spotting session is when the film it's all put together, it's assembled, okay, but there's no sound and no music to it. So during a spotting session, the director goes through and points out all the spots in the movie where they want sound and music, and then those people go about making that.
Yeah. And then the writer, the composer, goes away and starts creating all this music, all the while that is collaborating with the director until ultimately they have a finished product.
Okay, now here's another one. We're going to play it for you. You tell us the name of the movie. All right. What is it?
I hear
All right,
Rocky.
Rocky,
Yeah, is
Rocky,
that what
Rocky.
you're saying?
All right, see if it's Rocky. It's actually not Rocky.
But it sounds like Rocky.
Okay, so that is a 17th century Baroque piece of music called Three Sonatinas for Two Clarini. So what's a clarini? Clarini are the valveless trumpets that you see there. All right, however, it was inspired, right? You'll
Yeah.
say more. Okay.
So Bill Conti, he was the one that was asked to write the music for Rocky. Well, he was inspired by that song, that music, that Baroque music, so he borrowed it. And he created the award-winning song Gonna Fly Now that reached #1 on the Billboard charts.
So let's listen to his inspiration. Let's listen to what he did with that theme song as you watch some of the Rocky movie.
Love that. Now, composers draw information and inspiration from songs that are already existing. And what happens to that? We call that practice music borrowing.
Now, composers have borrowed way back, even the classical composers like Brahms, Schubert, Mozart, Beethoven, they all borrowed from each other. Now, today, if a contemporary composer borrows from one of those classical composers from many, many years ago, that's okay because they've been gone for a long time. And their music is what we call in public domain, so it's free and they don't have to pay anything. However,
When a songwriter or composer borrows from another contemporary songwriter and composer, Well, then we have this problem, plagiarism, and it has to go to court to be solved.
Right. All right, so name the movie. We're going to play the theme. You tell us the name of the movie. What is it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, The Godfather.
Yeah, you're right. It's The Godfather. It's an Italian-American crime film trilogy. And look who directed it, Francis Ford Coppola, and then an Italian composer, Nino Rota.
Raise your hands if you saw that movie. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I should say, raise your hands if you didn't see the movie, right? Okay, really wonderful trilogy, yes. It's about a fictional American mafia head, and the character is named Vito Corleone, and it's played by that guy, Marlon Brando. Now, the score that you just heard, beautiful score, okay, was written by Nino Rota in 1973, and it was so beautiful, it got an Academy Award nomination. But what happened in 1974? Okay. When the 74 Academy Awards came along, they disqualified it, said, no, can't go.
So why was it disqualified? It was disqualified because he borrowed the music.
But wait a second. A moment ago, we just told everyone that you could borrow music, right?
But who did he borrow it from? It turns out that he borrowed it from himself. Nino Rota actually reinterpreted his own piece of music from an Italian comedy in 1958 called Fortunella, and the Academy would not allow him to use the same song twice.
So let's listen to that music for this Italian comedy, so you can see the difference between that. You can hear the difference. Here we go.
Very different, right?
I think we should go back and listen to the one that we all know
Yeah,
and
I
love,
like,
right? Here we
yeah, this one better.
go. Much better, right? Much, much better.
So now you've learned 3 ways of how music gets into a movie, right? One of them is collaborate with the director, or you borrow from others, or you actually reinterpret your own music.
Yes,
You know, I
yes.
have to say, all these composers, from Beethoven all the way to John Williams, at least once or twice in their life, they have all reinterpreted their very own music.
So there are other fascinating ways that music got into movies, and this is one of them, okay? So we're going to actually play, what's the name of the movie?
I hear it, yeah.
Pretty Woman. Oh, yeah, Pretty Woman. Okay, so that was written, well, we'll talk about it was written, but that was featured in the 1990 movie starring Richard Gere, who played a wealthy Hollywood businessman who falls in love with a Hollywood escort named played by Julia Roberts. So let's go back 26 years before that. In 1964, Roy Orbison, remember that name?
Yeah.
Who wrote Pretty Woman? Roy Orbison and Bill Dees, his writing partner, who wrote the words for that song, they were sitting on the back porch, and Roy said to his partner, hey, you know, Bill, just start playing the guitar and write down any words that come to mind, okay?
Okay, but just then Roy Orbison's wife, Claudette, walked into the room and she said, hi, hon, I'm going into town to do some shopping.
Great. Hey, wait a second. Do you need any money?
Bill Dees let out a wide crack. A pretty woman doesn't need any money. Well, Bill Dees put his, let me speak into this verse, started banging his hand on the table.
And Roy Orbison started singing, Pretty Woman, walking down the street, pretty woman, the kind I'd like to meet, pretty
Well,
woman.
they wrote that song on a Friday. The following Friday, they recorded it. And a few Fridays after that, they released the song. And you know what? Ultimately, #1 on the Billboard charts. Pretty good, huh?
No, Pretty Woman, right?
Ah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to 1990. The director of the movie, Gary Marshall, when he decided to put the song, actually the name of the song is Oh Pretty Woman, but he decided to feature the song Oh Pretty Woman in the movie. The movie was a different title, so when he put the song in, he decided to change the name of the movie to Pretty Woman. So our question for you is this.
What do you think the original title of the movie was before it was called Pretty Woman? It was this. $3,000. Now, why? Because that was the going rate of an escort in Hollywood at that time. I don't think I'd want to go see a movie called Pretty Woman, do you?
No,
Yeah.
that would not excite me to do that at all.
Yeah, so $3,000.
Here it goes. Yeah, we remember that song really well, don't we? Okay, now when we were here back in July, there were some westerns that we talked about that were written in the 1960s. And there
lot
were
of
very
them.
famous classical scores. One of the westerns was Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, all right? And the other one was The Magnificent Seven. Now, this western movie was also classical, a classic western movie, but instead of using a classical score, they decided to use a pop song. We're going to play that pop song for you. You tell us the name of this western movie. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yes. Butch Cassidy, great. You guys are very smart. You want to come
Yeah.
up and do this presentation?
Yes.
No?
Who wants my mic? So yeah, Paul Newman, Robert Redford in it, and yes, someone said this. Who wrote it? Burt Bacharach and Habit.
Right.
And anybody know who was singing that song? I think it's right up
there.
here. Yeah, B.J. Thomas.
B.J. Thomas. I love that.
singing
It was one of my favorite songs at that time. All right. So, how did that song, a contemporary pop song, get into a classical western movie in the 1960s? Well, the director of the movie, George Roy Hill, had envisioned a bicycle sequence, and he thought it was rather contemporary. He said, since the bad guys, okay, the Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, they were taking a little break from robbing banks and that sort of thing. He said, let's give them a break. They were riding a bike, and he thought, well, let's put a contemporary pop song in there. Well, when the director, George Roy Hill, decided to do that, Robert Redford hated the idea. He said, it's a bad idea. It doesn't fit in the movie. And guess what? In the movie, it never rains.
Right. But guess what? 3 Academy Awards for Best Picture, Best Score, and Best Song.
So, yeah. So
Did
let's,
okay.
Yes. So let's listen to some of that music while we watch the movie.
Just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling.
Yeah, wonderful song. Now, just 4 years later, Robert Redford starred in another movie, and he had another major disagreement with a movie star in there. So, we're going to play the song from the soundtrack. You tell us the name of the movie. All right, The Way We Were. Yep. Raise your hands if you saw the movie. Beautiful.
Now, Barbra Streisand and Robert Redford did not get along at all. She always wanted to rehearse a lot. He, on the other hand, liked to be more spontaneous. Now, the characters that they were playing were very deeply in love, but they also had their differences. So these two actors used those differences to their advantage when they were shooting their scenes.
Right. Now look at the song and the score went on to win Academy Award in 1974. And it was written by a composer named Marvin Hamlish. And look at this, Turner Classic Movies said, The Way We Were is one of the most recognizable songs in the entire world. So what was his inspiration? How did he come up with the idea to write that song? Well, rather than us tell you, you're going to hear it directly from him.
The Way We Were starts out on a college campus, and they actually asked me to go to the college, and what I heard at the college were these bells, and this becomes you start thinking about Barbra Streisand and you think about those long notes that she sounds so great at.
Now, we said that again that Marvin Hamlisch wrote that song. He also wrote the musical chorus line. Patty, you were in a chorus line, and you got to work with Marvin Hamlisch on a couple of projects. What were they? What was it like to work with him?
Well, first of all, Marvin is brilliant. He's also so nice. He's just was a nice man. Anyway, yes, I auditioned for Marvin Hamlisch and the director Michael Bennett for the Broadway musical The Chorus Line in the 70s. 4 times. 4 times I auditioned. I finally got the job. I was so excited. And shortly after I was put into the show, Marvin was actually performing for a couple nights in Toronto. And he needed someone to sing a song. Now, he already had 3 people. He had a trio to sing one of the songs at the ballet that was a trio. He needed a soloist. And all of a sudden, I find myself on an airplane. I'm flying to Toronto, and I get off the plane, and I rehearse that evening. And that night on the O'Keefe Center stage, Marvin Hamlisch is playing for me. Oh, I was so thrilled and petrified. Oh my goodness! I was right next. He's playing piano. I'm right here singing one of his songs.
And,
But
and Patty's not going to tell you this, but she got great reviews from that. So congratulations
I
on
was
that, Patty.
very
Yes.
lucky. But
Yes,
Marvin
yes.
was wonderful. Really, thank you.
Now, there's another Barbra Streisand song that's even more famous than The Way We Were. What's the song? Funny Girl, the name of the music. People. People,
Yeah.
yes, uh-huh.
Yes, it was written for the musical Funny Girl, and it's about the life of a comedian, Fanny Brice. Now, who wrote it? Julie Stein and Bob Merrill. They wrote all of that wonderful music for Barbara to sing.
Now, we all know, that song People is universally loved by almost everyone on the planet. But very few people know that we came this close to never hearing the song. What happened? How did that happen?
So Stanley Kubrick, he was the director of
No, Garson Kanin.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick. That's our 2000. Oh, my goodness.
yeah.
Oh, I can't
Don't-
say that.
yeah, you don't wanna
I'm
give that
ahead of
away.
myself,
Uh-huh.
gang.
Yep.
Yeah, Garson Kanin. So he was the director of the Broadway show. And when he first heard the music, he went, I don't like it. It's just not right for the show.
And Julie Stein, the composer, said, but this song has to stay in. It's beautiful. Yes.
I'm not going to change my mind.
Well, shortly after that, the producer of the Broadway musical, Funny Girl, sent Barbra Streisand to a recording studio to record People so they could use it to promote the Broadway show.
So on December 20th, 1963, after a very long day of rehearsal, Barbra Streisand goes to the recording studio at midnight, and she sings there until 3 a.m.
And what happened at 3 a.m.? The entire studio was quiet. Why? Because they were weeping. They thought it was so beautiful. They just couldn't describe how wonderful it sounded. And then Julie Stein, the composer, said, to the director, it has to stay in. It's going to be a big hit. Yes, and it's going to be a showstopper.
No. I said no. I'm not going to change my mind.
And for reasons that are too long to discuss right now, that director was then fired.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the new director came in, and Barbara was allowed to sing that song on stage, and it literally stopped the show.
And that's why we know the song. So let's take a listen.
People are the luckiest people in the
Now, can you imagine a director saying that he didn't like that song, right? Wow. Okay, so we're going to change it up, or a completely different change, a change of music. We're going to play this for you. You tell us if you know the name of the movie. Anyone know? Beetlejuice. You heard of
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
Raise your hands if you saw Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Oh, what
Yeah,
a fun
okay.
movie.
Right, okay, all right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So it's a dark comedy. A couple who is deceased find out that they are ghosts and they are forced to stay in their home. So how did Deo, 1956, I think it was 1956, yeah. How did way back then that song get into the 1988 movie Beetlejuice?
All right, so in the story now, the head of the household, you can see her at the table, she invites guests from the neighborhood over for dinner. And she says to them, I think that there are two ghosts that are trying to scare us out of this house. And they're trying to get us to sing out spontaneously into song.
Now that scene needed to be lively and fun, but they picked music that was slow and boring. So that actor, Catherine O'Hara, she said, listen, why don't we use Deo? That's going to really make this scene lively and fun.
And it certainly did. Take a look.
Now, Lydia, favor us about your ghosts.
No, I'm sick of that subject.
Oh, Delia, lighten up.
I would rather talk about
It's cute, Delia. Are you doing this?
All night, gonna drink a rum. Stack banana till the morning come. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. I eat deadly black tarantula.
Yep.
Oh my good. So who directed it? Tim Burton and of course Michael Keaton. He was Beetlejuice. Now Winona Ryder, her career had kind of sort of just started. This movie really helped launch her career. And David, you actually worked with her in another movie. What was that like? And what movie was
Okay,
it?
well, did anyone see any of the Alien movies? Okay, well, I was very fortunate to work on one of the movies. Sigourney Weaver, I choreographed her on Broadway in a production. She really liked what I did, the choreography, and she brought me out to Hollywood to work with her. And she said, I actually don't need you to work with me. I really want you to coach Winona Ryder because she doesn't move. She's not really comfortable in her body. So this is one of the scenes I was working on the set. It was Alien Resurrection. It was actually the fourth one. And when I stepped out to give her a couple of notes, the director pulled me back and he said, David, actually, don't give her any notes right now because I like the fact that she's very still. I don't really want her to move a whole lot. So, because she does all of the acting with her eyes. It certainly made my job a lot easier.
But you still got paid, right?
I certainly did.
All
yes.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I did, yeah. All right, now, this next score you will know very well. And even if you haven't seen the movie, you will know the score and movie as soon as you hear it. And the story behind how the music got into it is actually kind of shocking. So tell us the name of the movie. Yeah. Raise your hands if you saw the movie.
Oh, yeah. When it first came out.
Yes. So our question for you, so the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. Does anyone know the name of the piece of music? All right, yes, there it is, okay. Also, Sprach Zarathustra. You get the gold star, sir. Thank you. All right, by Richard Strauss. So how did that piece of music get into the movie?
Well, here we go. Finally, who I mentioned earlier, Stanley Kubrick. For this, he was the director. He got the composer Alex North. We talked about him earlier, remember Unchained? And they had actually worked together in 1958 on Spartacus. Yeah, with Kirk Douglas, and they got along great. But for 2001, the studio They were not happy at all because it was taking so long to film. And also, Alex North had not finished yet writing the music. So the director, Kubrick, decided to get a show reel together and just put a whole bunch of
Classical music,
music
yeah.
together that was classical, like this one right here. The studio loved it.
But the problem was that Stanley Kubrick never told Alex North, the composer, that he wasn't going to use his music. So the world premiere happens in New York City. Alex North, again, the composer, gets all dressed up with his family and friends, goes there, sat down expecting to hear his own music, and was shocked and embarrassed that they used other music, that one piece, okay?
Well, Kubrick didn't stop there. He actually defended himself and he said, listen, you know, the composers today, we have maybe great composers, but they are not as good as Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms. So why should we have music that is less good?
Wow, he was a tyrant. Let's go back to this, okay? Spartacus, actually, they actually got in some major fights. They were yelling on the set. They were physically almost at odds with each other. And Kirk Douglas's wife had to step in, and she said to Kubrick and Kirk Douglas, you two need to go into therapy together.
I wonder if they did.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so moving along, this is how a classic example of how classical music was purposely used to tell a story. And I think when you see this clip, you'll understand what we mean.
I don't know why the music isn't coming up very much. It's Chopin's Nocturne in C sharp minor.
There it is.
I don't know what happened there. Okay, so that's from the movie The Pianist, 2002, okay, about a Polish-Jewish composer and pianist named Władysław Szpilman, who was hiding from the Nazis in the Warsaw Ghetto during World War II. And it was directed by Roman Polanski, and it was played by Adrian Brody, who happened to learn to play piano for the movie.
Amazing. And
Yes,
that was absolutely amazing. Now, with the video you just saw, you know that really happened. So, September 23, 1939, in this Polish radio station, Władysław Szpilman was playing Chopin's Nocturne in C sharp minor when the Nazis bombed the building.
And a little while later, okay, a Nazi officer actually, he had found Władysław Szpilman hiding in the ruins. And he said, who are you?
I'm Władysław Szpilman. I'm a pianist.
Then play something.
Szpilman sat down and he played Chopin's Nocturne in C sharp minor.
And Wilhelm, he was so moved by that, he actually gave him food and water. And before he left Warsaw, he took off his Nazi commander's coat and he gave it to Szpilman to protect him from the cold.
Yeah, wow. Now, after the war was over in 1945, Szpilman was again asked to play something at that Polish radio station. What do you think he played?
Same thing, Chopin's Nocturne in C sharp minor. Just shows you the power, the transformative power of music.
Wow, yeah.
German officer was a school teacher from Hamburg.
Okay. And did you read? Do you know a lot about that? Did you happen to read a book, or do you just know?
I did a little bit of research on it.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Yeah. He actually was not really in favor of the whole Nazi movement at that time. He was found out afterwards, and he had to hide that a lot too. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
All right.
you, yeah. Early 1950s, let's go to Philadelphia.
So, a man named Max C. Freeman, he wrote a song that he hoped would capture the flavor of a new type of music at that time. And what did he do? He actually found a country western musician and he gave that song to that country western musician who liked to play music faster than all the other bands at that time.
So this musician and his band, they played the song and they really liked it. Hey, Max, the audience went wild when we played that song. And you know, it's got a new kind of sound, too.
Oh, that's great. Does that mean you'll record it?
Oh, I'm sorry, but I can't.
Well, why not?
Well, the owner of my record label doesn't like your music publisher, so I can't.
But I really was
Listen,
hoping
I'm
that-
sorry, but I can't. And then about 2 years later, he got out of his contract and he signed with Decca Records. And he went to the head of Decca and he said, hey, can I record my song now?
Yes, you can.
Great,
Yeah,
I'm
but-
on it.
But first, okay, there's a song called 13 Women.
Well, excuse me, sir, you said I could record my song today.
I did. I said you can and you will, but the song 13 Women is going to be a really, really big hit. That's going to be the A side, okay? The B side is going to, well, you know what? I'm going to give you the last 15 minutes of a recording session to record that song you're so crazy about.
So he did record the two songs,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually it went out released in maybe April 1954.
And when that was released, you know what happened? No, nothing. It did. No one liked it. It was a modest success at best. But then,
Yeah, then a year after that, the novel The Blackboard Jungle ultimately became a movie, The Blackboard Jungle, starring, as you can see up there, Glenn Ford, Anne Francis, and the then unknown Sidney Poitier. And it's about a school trade teacher at a violent inner school who is determined to do his job.
Now, what happened then was Glenn Ford's 9-year-old son, Peter, heard that the producers were looking for a record to feature in the movie. And his son, Peter, said, hey, Dad, I've got a record here, okay? 13 Women. Give this to the producers. But don't play 13 Women. Play the other side. Play the B side. See what they think about that, okay? He brought it into the producers. He played it for them. And what happened? Did they like it? They loved it. They said, this is fabulous, okay? We are going to feature this song on the opening credits of the movie. And the name of the band was Bill Haley and the Comets. And the song is one you will all know. Rock Around the Clock.
Yeah. And then after the movie opened, there was an awful lot of interest in that song. And then when Decca Records re-released it as a single, it became #1 all around the world.
As a matter of fact, it became the anthem, the youth anthem for youth all around the world in the 1950s.
It sure did. So here's our last score and our last movie. And so we thought it was only right that we actually we talk again about the first composer that we talked about when we were here in July for Great Songs, Great Movies, Part 1.
There was an Austrian composer named Max Steiner, okay? He immigrated to America, and he was known as the father of modern film music. Why? For these two reasons. Number one, he was the first person who just thought that music should amplify movie scenes. And number two, he's the very first person who found a way to synchronize the orchestra's score with the on-screen action.
And his music, oh my goodness, Gone with the Wind, that score is considered one of the most romantic scores of all time. So David, why is it so romantic?
Well, because the love theme captures the grandeur and the sentiment of the movie. With this, and the theme is both heartbreaking and romantic at the same time.
Now, Gone with the Wind is about the Civil War and the Reconstruction era and the love entanglement that she had, Scarlett O'Hara, with Rhett Butler and Ashley Wilkes.
So let's take a few moments and listen to this beautiful score, some of the score, that the American Film Institute calls one of the best scores ever written. Raise your hands if you saw Gone with the
Yeah,
Wind.
oh, what a
yeah,
great, great film. So before we end, again, Hallie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hallie, for
And
everything.
the next time thank you, Hallie, and the next time we're going to let you get up. We're so sorry.
Yes,
And
yes.
thank you all for being here. And you know, we have one more fun thing to do. It's a montage of a movie, a musical that we actually talked about earlier. So take a look. I think you'll enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Remember?
Summer loving happens so fast.
I met a girl crazy for me.
Met a boy cute as can be. Hopelessly devoted. Hopelessly devoted. Tell me about it.
Stud.
Got chills, they're multiplying, and I'm losing control. 'Cause the power you're supplying, it's electrifying. Better shape up, 'cause I need a man, and my heart is set on you. Yeah. So one more time, like my name's outside. Boogie, 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 shoot you out spot. Chain, 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 and change the clock. We'll always be like one.
Well, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you
You've
so
been
much
so
for being
wonderful.
here. We really
really
appreciate it.
appreciate it. Yes, we
Thank
love
you.
coming here. You guys are fabulous. And you're
Yes.
so smart. Yeah. Happy New Year again,
Oh,
everyone.
yes. Happy New Year. Thank you.
You want a part 3? All right. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Mhm.